Hey, this is your Made Free Life podcast with your host, Shawn, where we have weekly conversations about faith, freedom, and adventure.
All right, well, welcome back to another episode of the Made Free Life podcast, where we have weekly conversations about faith, freedom, and adventure. And I got my main man back, Travi, the Rabbi. And,
Thanksgiving week, man.
Yes, dude, Thanksgiving. And so we've been talking about what it means over breakfast this morning, actually.
Yeah, we were in training for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, exactly.
I ate all mine. I'm ready.
We were working on stretching the stomach.
Yeah, I'm ready. I mean, because you just don't.
Cracker Barrel, buddy, you
don't just go into Thanksgiving without being prepared.
Yeah, that's right. It's training for every season.
Yeah, if you're gonna be grateful in life, you better make sure you eat everything on your plate.
But we were discussing over breakfast this morning about the season we're in.
Yeah,
and I thought it'd be a good time to talk about gratitude and what does it mean to be men of gratitude, men that are thankful. I think it's something that's really hard to do. Well, even when you got a lot of good things happening.
it is, and I think that this is one of the biggest hurdles when it comes to men and gratitude. It isn't because I don't think men are not thankful. Yeah. I think that in a world and the way that we're wired and the way that we're driven, we are accumulation minded. We need less accumulation and more appreciation. You know,
it's good.
And so it comes from where you place your focus.
Truth.
You know, and I'm not against accumulating. God's not against accumulating stuff. I mean, He wants you to enjoy life.
Yeah, I want to have some stuff.
Yes, man. You can have some stuff. But I think at the end of the day, we need to really focus our attention on being appreciative for what we have, what God's provided for us.
Yeah, man.
Because in this thing called life, we can be so focused on just goals, and there's nothing wrong with that.
It's like going back to the tree. You know, Adam and Eve had all these trees, but they were focused on the one they didn't have. And I think the culture in the day that we're living is you can have 1,000 great things going in your life, but it's the temptation of, why don't I have that? Or that hasn't happened yet. And I think the danger of that, obviously, is that we're not enjoying the present and the moment, that we're looking to that, you know, when the kids are grown, when we pay the house off, when I get, you know, a better retirement or a retirement, whatever that is. God, it's the fact that we're even talking about retirement at our age.
Listen, I don't live to retire. I live to inspire.
Come on, somebody.
You know, and as I inspire, I'll never retire from inspiring.
Yeah, that's the truth. That's the truth. But no, I've been thinking about this lately, and so I'm glad that we decided to agree on the subject today, because it is something that I think we all struggle with. And I find little things that I've been doing they're almost like, I don't know what you would call it, things that kind of remind me.
Mm-hmm.
So, for instance, I get in my truck. It's paid for. It's the first time I've had a vehicle that nice, new. It's 2020.
Perfect. I need to borrow some money from my truck.
And yeah, so it's the first time that I could say I've had a paid for vehicle. I'm 50 years old. But it's something I don't want to forget, because I've been making truck payments my whole life. And until I made a decision that I was going to pay cash and be debt free. Mm-hmm. But it wouldn't happen without the help of God. It wouldn't happen without Him blessing me, giving me favor, opening up doors. And so when I get in that truck, it's a reminder of something that God's done for me recently that means a ton to me. Sure. And so I'm finding myself all the time when I get behind the wheel, I'm like, thank you, Jesus. Thank you for this truck.
Yeah, and it's really easy to lose sight of some of that stuff unless you are ultra intentional. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I've done in my marriage, and maybe you're here and you're married, and maybe your marriage is a little shaky, could be a little bit healthier. At the end of the day, I think we spend so much time maybe trying to focus on what the other person, your spouse, what they're doing, what they're not doing, what they could do, or what they could stop doing to actually make the marriage healthier. But one of the things that I started doing a long time ago, Shawn, was being ultra intentional about thanking my wife for the little things. And it wasn't something that came automatic. It was something that I had to be intentional for. And to
train yourself.
Yeah, to the degree, I get up this morning, or I get up every morning. I want my wife to know that I love her.
I thought you were about to say, I want my coffee.
Yeah, babe, I need you to go ahead and make my coffee. Get the toothpaste on my toothbrush ready for me. Lay out.
Simple request.
No. The first thing that I do is I let her know how I feel and how thankful I am and that I love her. Whether it's a meal. I mean, this is a good place to start, guys.
We just lost all the men.
Yeah,
and now all the women are leaning in right now. Like, go ahead.
Yeah.
Continue, Travis.
Preach it.
Preach it.
Over a meal. As far as just being thankful for her just taking the time. I don't, and it's to the degree that it doesn't matter. I give my wife a kiss on the cheek. Hey, thank you, babe. That was so good. And it doesn't matter if she just ordered it from Sonny's and I pick it up, and I don't care.
That's not a kiss on the cheek, but go ahead.
Yeah, I do. I mean, I show my affection, I show my appreciation, I show my gratitude. And she's like, all I did was call it in. I'm like, I know, babe, but nobody calls that thing in like you. It's so clear. It's so accurate. It's so perfect. It's so good. If there's something wrong with the order, it's never on your end. You're always on time. You take care of us. Thank you, babe, for this Sonny's. And so at the end of the day, I don't do it perfect, but I have noticed is when I invite a spirit and an attitude of gratitude into my marriage, man, it's hard to be mad at somebody that's thankful for everything, like everything.
So with that being said, man, what are some things you're grateful about, Travis, as we move in a couple days before Thanksgiving, one of my favorite holidays as an American, as a follower of Jesus, just because it is a time that we pause, reflect, and we're reminded of all of the things, all the blessings, all of the things that God's given us. And so what are some things leading up to the next couple of days that you've been super thankful about?
Man, where do I start?
Yeah.
Just the family that I have, my children, my son-in-law,
me,
my friends, this guy right here. At the end of the day, it's hard to put it into a list. I mean, I'm so I guess the reality is when you come from where we've been brought from.
Come on, man.
It's
everything.
Everything. I mean,
I woke up not in jail.
Yeah. I wake up and it's like, man, I get to experience freedom. I get to experience life. I get to experience love. I get to serve my family. I get to love my wife. I get to love my children. Like I get to do,
not a got to.
Yeah, I get to work. It's a good thing. And so whenever we start looking at the ramifications of that, we deserve nothing, right? And everything that we've been given, golly, it's such a blessing. And it's one of the things to be reminded, and how I stay, my relationship with Christ stays so healthy, is that there's never a day that goes by that I don't remember what God has done for me and to me and through me, and he didn't have to.
Right.
Like, I find myself like David at times going, who am I that you would be mindful of me? Like, you're a big guy. You got a lot of important things going.
More important people.
Yeah, this old boy from Buckville.
Right.
This
old boy from Mills.
Yeah, man. And it's just like, you would even take the time to insert yourself into my life for my benefit. And so just being reminded of the little things.
It's good. I was preaching a couple of weeks ago at a friend of mine's church, and I told the congregation, I said, I'm from a place called Mims. It's one blinking light, and if it's not the end of the world, you can see it from there. We got excited when we got the McDonald's out there on 95, but I'm blown away at all that God has done through me in just this short period. I said, if God doesn't do another thing through me, I never thought he would use me to plant churches and travel the world and preach the gospel, start podcasts, inspire and encourage people and point people to Jesus. So I'm always dumbfounded that he uses the foolish things of this world.
Yeah, I'm in way over my head.
Yeah, like
if you're watching, I'm in way over my head. It's going to take the Lord and his grace
to get it done.
To get it done.
And then me not blow it. But no, man, I think it's also this thing is what I've always taught my kids, and I try to remind myself is when I do find myself becoming ungrateful or not thankful as I should, I look around at a broken, hurting world.
Oh yeah.
And as I'm driving that new truck that's paid for, and I look down the road and I see, somebody that's bound up in addiction, and they're staring at their phone. They got their whole life on their backpack, and you can tell they haven't bathed in a few days, and it's hot, and they're on their Fred Flintstones trying to get to wherever they're getting, to wherever they're doing, and it's like it captivates me for a minute. I'm going, dang man, I don't even deserve, like you said, this the magnitude and the gravity of like, dude, I could be just like them, sure, or I was telling my girlfriend the other day, I said, whatever, we were talking about something that we were both expecting something to happen, and it hadn't, and we were both kind of a little bummed, and I said, but listen, I said, we just need to be grateful that doctor's not coming in the room right now giving us, this prognosis that some families, sure, got 6 months to live, or your child worse off, because these are things that are happening every day.
Yeah.
And we're healthy, and so that thing didn't happen on the time frame that we wanted. The expectation wasn't met, whatever. But at the end of the day, man, we're blessed. We are so thankful.
And gratitude and thankfulness is something that has to be cultivated and developed, because
it is a cultivation.
Like, look at your children. They don't thank you for nothing. My kids, you could get. Have you ever had your kids open up a present and look at it and just throw it down and go into the you're like, wait a minute. I worked for that. I was expecting at least a thank you. They don't care. Like kids,
they don't care about your emotional well-being.
No,
I have a Jude story. Last night I took Jude. We all went out, the kids and I, to eat, and then Jude was kind of priming me all day. I need a present. I need a toy.
Oh yeah.
Because his mom does, spoil him a lot, and I don't get him a whole ton like I would like to, because I work out of town a lot. But so I normally do. If he's being good, I'll take him to Walmart, and I give him a budget, even though he's 3. He don't understand the budget. But he's picking out stuff that are Christmas toys and stuff. And I'm like, buddy,
but what's a Christmas toy?
Like a $50 or more toy. You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to stay in the $20. I'm trying to stay between the $10, $15, $25, because I'm not just with him now. I got 4 other ones, and they're looking at him like, is he getting one? Because I want one. And so, it gets to be expensive. I spent $220 there yesterday and got a turkey. Thank God for turkey. But as we're wrestling and the tension of he's picking up all these expensive toys, and he just, he starts soloing up, and it bothered me because, and of course I got to remind myself, Shawn, he's 3, you know what I mean? Like, he doesn't understand. He just wants what he wants, and he wants it now. But my fear is that when you see those things, it's like, God, what we don't want is our children to grow up and become unthankful and ungrateful for the things that they have or the opportunities that they have.
Sure.
And I'm offering him an opportunity to get a $10, $15, $20 toy, and he's about to leave with none, because I have done that with him. I've said, all right, you got 2 minutes and we're leaving. And then he's like, frantically looking down the aisles and trying to grab some, and then he's just like gets it, but it's grudgingly. He's like, puts it in the cart, so that whole thing about taking the present and throwing it to the side. But yeah, I think it's passing it down. I think it first has to, like you said, it's an attitude that we cultivate, an attitude of thankfulness as adults, as men, as leaders in our homes. We have to first exhibit that. Yeah. But then from there, we have to pass that down. Sure. And we have to teach them. It's not just, you remember like your dad used to say, I said no.
Yeah.
When there was no why. And I used to be, because I was from old school, my dad was like, you don't ask why. Yeah. I said so. Yeah. But as, I started becoming a Jesus follower, I felt like the whys were important, because the why helps them to understand the dangers of why we don't do this and why we don't do that, because this can happen. So now that I've settled that there's some whys in life, it's a teaching moment for me to get into their heart and say, this is why we don't do this.
Yeah, I've always said, when you know your why, it empowers your what.
Truth.
And so when it comes to our children, one of the things that I want to model in my household is that thankfulness and that gratitude that I express and that love that I express to my wife, which is my daughter's mother, so that when she goes looking for a man, she can see a little bit of what I've modeled, a little bit of Jesus, and who she's just a little bit, the flipping over tables, making a whip.
Still working on that.
Still working on it, so that she knows what to look for. She knows what's been modeled in front of her, and
it's good.
It's dangerous to say that we value something and then model something else.
100%. It's such a confusing picture.
It is. And so it creates.
It's like do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah, that's from the devil. if you've used that, stop it, stop it. You want your children to do as you do. Because this is what I know about kids. They don't do what you say, they do what you do.
They do what you model.
And you get mad at them for being just like you. So stop that.
Facts.
You might have to work on some things. It's like that meme.
I get more attention with more of the ones that act more like me than I do the ones that don't.
It's like that meme with the gorilla and then the baby gorilla. Just bowed up at the mom. Yeah. It's like your kid acting just like you, and you're getting mad at it.
Mad about it.
Yeah, for sure. And so it's something that it isn't just
you want to beat you out of them.
Yes. Yeah. And I think Grace asked me the other day, or Michelle or somebody asked, who is Grace more like, Michelle or me? And it's like, it just depends on what day you catch her. And if she's going to be goofy and silly, that's me. But she's smart like her mother. Yeah, like when it comes to book smart.
If she's going to be a detective, it's going to be her mother.
Oh, yeah.
That's the idea.
They are all, you get like the microscope. Yeah, you're under it, buddy. Yeah. You're not going to get away with anything.
Facts, big facts.
They definitely.
But yeah, it's good, and I would agree with that. She is I always say that. I told Kevin the other day. I said, "Hey, man, Faith is a spitting image of you and Terry, the good and the bad. Yeah. So if you're mad, go ahead and get some of that responsibility, because part of that you're mad about is you in her. Yeah. The things that you see about yourself that you would wish could change or want to change." That's all right, man. It's all good. Take your phone call, Pastor.
Yeah. No, it's good. It's good. No, what I found, like in our children, those things that drive us crazy, when they're cultivated in a biblical way and channeled in a healthy way, it becomes the very thing that becomes their strength.
Yeah.
What I mean by that, for example, Grace is very, very hard-headed. She wants to know the details. She wants to know the whys. She wants to know, which are some of the things that are going to make her a strong,
for sure,
leader. And so
because she's not just being led. She wants to know why we're doing this and why we're doing it this way. And I think there's a part of that, like you said, it's a very good quality.
Yeah.
Because she's not easily going to be led astray by nonsense.
Yeah.
She's going to have her own conviction about it, or at least try to form one before she follows in suit. So I think that's good, man. So I'm excited about a lot of things this year, man. Obviously, the podcast has been something I've been pumped about, just getting our conversations and conversations that I have like this with other friends out that I believe people could benefit from. Just being real and raw and authentic. And, we don't have it all together, but these are the things that we want to be better at. And then those conversations, I believe, give hope to people who are struggling, like today, maybe with being unthankful. Maybe just having a bad attitude, and they just find themselves waking up ticked off every day, and they're always focused on what they don't have instead of looking around about the things that they do. And I think those are things that I'm excited about. I'm excited about turkey.
Yep.
I would like to say I'm excited about college football.
Not.
But if you're a Gator fan, you're not excited about that. I'm excited about deer hunting, and hopefully get another chance at shooting a big buck and not missing it, like I did last 2 weeks ago. So those are things I'm excited about, but excited about friendships, man, and walking and doing life with people.
That's what it's about.
It's just a season that I'm grateful for all that God's doing and all that He's gonna do, and I can't not be thankful enough, because as you said, we shouldn't even be here.
Yeah.
The truth of it. And that's not just something that we say to just sound, whatever. It's true. Like, if you really look at your lifestyle and your background and my story, like, for us to be sitting here today talking and healthy and all of the things that we just said that God has given us, man, it's a miracle.
Yeah. I've showed pictures of myself pre-Jesus, and people are like, "Wow."
Yeah.
It's like, dude, is that really you? I'm like, no. It's a form. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Shell.
and I say it like this, and maybe you're listening and watching. There's a you in you that you don't even know exists.
Yeah.
You know, there's a you in
That
you.
God wants to introduce you to.
Yep, absolutely. And so, you know, when we take a look around at all that we have, and we can be thankful for all that we got, we can cultivate this attitude of gratitude, man. And it's such a healthy posture for your heart to be in.
Yeah.
It helps mature you and grow you, because at the end of the day, you don't have to do anything. You start out in this life being unthankful, ungrateful, selfish, throwing toys down. And so it's an attitude that has to be cultivated. And I like to say it like this, you know, whenever, and here's a good next step. And I would challenge if you're watching.
Say, won't you just lead us out with a challenge?
If you're watching and you're like, okay, what's my next step? How about this? And it's going to take some boldness. How about praying over your meal as a family, coming and gathering around the table? You know, you've got the plate set, and you know,
maybe this year for Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
the first
begin to pray.
prayed.
Begin to thank God for the simple things. Begin to thank God for a meal. And you know, it starts in your home, and the next place it'll start at a restaurant, and you'll feel that tension because there's going to be people looking beside you. But God wants you to experience a level of freedom. What I love about whenever I started doing this, you know, at my household, Grace was little, and you know, when little kids, when you pray, they'll peek. You ever see your head down, and I'll act like my eyes are closed, and I'll look, and I'll see them. They're looking around, and I would say this, even as adults, I think we should peek a little bit more when we pray, and we can see God's blessings all over our life. I don't know who this is for. You need to start peeking while you're praying.
That's good.
Because if you open up your eyes, you can see all the blessings, all the favor, all the love, all the opportunity, all the good things that God has placed in your life. I believe that we need to peek a little bit more while we pray to see God's favor, love, blessings, and goodness all over our life. And as we begin to do that, our heart begins to change, our attitude begins to change, our countenance begins to change, and we can start seeing all the good things that God has given us.
Wow, man. Thank you so much, Travis. Thank you again always for bringing insight and wisdom, and I love chopping it up with you. And to everybody out there, to our family, to yours, have a happy Thanksgiving. And we love you guys.
Pecan pie. I like leftovers.
Fried turkey. So if anybody wants some fried turkey, hit your boy up. But God bless you guys. We love y'all.
Peace.